IAM 751. QA expert Daryl Guberman explains something to you. I am not involved with this strike, ladies and gentlemen, business owners, my fellow citizens, union workers. But I'm going to tell you, and I've already predicted it, because after this union, Boeing will ultimately lay you off. Now take a look at this. You gave up your pension, and Dennis Mullenberg gets $60 million after the Ethiopian Air and Indonesian Air crashes, killing 348 souls. You now bring it up one, and you see David Calhoun is going to get $45-50 million. It seems like if you fuck up, you move up. And by the way, I can say fuck up because your once employee, Patrick Shanahan, who was moved over to Donald Trump's Assistant Secretary of Defense, when asked about the F-35, Lockheed F-35, he said the program's fucked up. It's worse than that. After producing their 801st ship, they're still producing them with rejections. I just read a report that said there were 821 rejects on an F-35 coming off the line. What makes matters really bad is I have a Government Accounting Office Inspector General report from 2013 that stated that Lockheed Martin and its suppliers and subcontractors did not adequately flow down proper AS9100 processes and procedures, and they had 719 rejections, 100 of which will cause loss of aircraft and loss of pilot. All of these CEOs, from Jim Tassett to David Calhoun, Jim Tassett's Lockheed, get money if they screw up, or as Patrick Shanahan would say, fucked up. Okay? Now Patrick Shanahan is the CEO of Spirit Aerospace Systems. I applied back in July. I put a 42-page document into the board at Boeing. I sent it to Virginia, where they're supposedly the corporate headquarters. I got my return card requests, and I have not heard anything. I am also a shareholder, union leaders and personnel. I'm also a shareholder. What I would do, and this is just my opinion, okay, what I would do is I would quit. All 33,000 of you just say, we're done. Boeing would, without a doubt, crumble, okay? And don't think for a moment that they won't. They will hold out. Let them hold out, okay? But I've done the analysis and I've looked at it. And these people at the top of the food chain, you have Miss Stephanie Pope, who was there for 29 years and never opened up her mouth. She was on the program, 777, 787. And let me just say something. I've heard rumors through the grapevine that you're trying alternate means. The management at Boeing are trying alternate means, possibly thinking about moving the tooling from Washington to South Carolina, where they build the 787 aircraft. And now, most recently, the 777X had cracking along the areas where that holds the engine. You know, what is this? Sam Salapar, and I was there on April 17th, 2024. Look me up. Daryl Guberman, Boeing, DARYL-GUBERMAN. Boeing, BOEING. Hit enter, and you will see me. Hit images after that, after you put me in the search engine. Hit images, and you will see standing up with a purple tie, holding paperwork up. Now, I was not invited to speak, but it was open door, so I decided to go. After the last speaker, I got up and I told the truth. Boeing not only outsourced a lot of their work for the aircraft, they also outsourced quality through two pieces of paper. The first one is in April of 2002. It was for special processes, welding, heat treat, non-destructive testing, penetrant inspection, radiography, etc., to a company called Performance Review Institute. Just send in your certificate, send in your parts, and Boeing doesn't have to do any on-site audits. The next one is in July of 2002. They set up the Supplier Procurement Bulletin. I think it's PQIT-002-01 from July 1st, 2002. You can corroborate that. I have it. If you can't find it, I'll send it to you. And what it said is, Send in your AS 9100 certificate for aerospace. As long as it's ANSI ANAP accredited, send in your certificate and send in your parts. And this is what Bloomberg did not want to publish, the factor that Boeing outsourced their inspection. They also don't want to tell you the truth, that in 2009, Boeing was made an FAA agency of the FAA. They could do anything they want for at least 10 years until the Ethiopian Air and Indonesian aircraft crashed. Let me just say this. I got contacted by Bloomberg, and I told them this. He said, we can't tell anybody that. Politico. I spoke to the guy at Politico the same day, the 17th. We met at a coffee place, and we were talking about this. We can't tell the public that. I talked to a guy from New York Post. I can't do that. We already know that that the FAA was a little bit laxed with Boeing. He doesn't know. They don't want to tell you, the public, what's going on. Bloomberg, Politico, New York Post, also Fortune. We sent them information. They don't want to do it. How does that look, ladies and gentlemen, to you? 40-year quality expert Daryl Guberman says that Boeing outsourced their inspection on-site auditing for critical parts and also flight safety parts, critical parts, and special processes. You don't know whether that metal that's going into the airplane was heat treated or not. And on top of it, in 2017, Boeing got caught fudging documentation on the metals that go into the aircraft. I don't fuck around, okay, when it comes to your life. I don't fuck around when it comes to IAM 751. You know, I've seen it too much in my day, where you have these union representatives in bed with the company. I'm not saying that. Now, the caveat here is, I'm not saying that's happening with IAM 751, but I will tell you that, you know something, that once this strike is over, they will lay people off. Hey, they outsourced their QC for over 22 years. On-site audits, non-existent. I do not make this up. I do not make this up. I have all documentation. When you see me standing with those two pieces of paper, that's only the beginning. And Richard Blumenthal, who sits on the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, the Department of Commerce, and the FDA not only sit on ANSI ANAP, the accreditation body of Boeing, but they're also customers. They pay for a fee, a service that ANSI and ANAP are going to give them. Is this correct? Richard Blumenthal is compromised. The DHS is compromised because of that. And I bet you he doesn't even know. On top of it, both the Department of Commerce and Department of Homeland Security have two employees that sit as a representative of those agencies on ANSI. They work full-time with their agencies. But when needed, that once or twice a year meeting that, Phil Matheson from the Department of Homeland Security was getting $262,000 tax-free. Now it's at various. A Gordon Gillerman from NIST, which is the part of the Department of Commerce, $120,000. I state this time and time again. If Boeing does not get Daryl Guberman in there to actually bring their quality back, they're done. Even if you win this strike, you're done. Okay? And they were thinking, from what I understand, a rumor, and I hate to spend rumors, that they were thinking of alternate means of how to break the union. Well, send the tooling to over South Carolina. South Carolina has a bad reputation of quality defects when it comes to the 787. Sam Salipore predicted that the 777 787 have poor quality designs. Why? Because they were instituted under the time when Boeing was made an FAA regulator, FAA agency. And then in 2019, once the two planes went down, ladies and gentlemen, and IAM 751, once those two planes went down and killed 348 souls, the FAA came out and said, we never allow companies to police themselves or to self-certify. The DOJ said that Boeing lied to the FAA. No, the DOJ is lying to us. And that's not an untruth. That's a fact. And then you have Robert Kelly Oberg, the new CEO, has the audacity to buy a $4.1 million house right when the strike started. What are you saying, ladies and gentlemen, business owners, Union IAM 751? What the hell are we thinking about? Okay, these guys slap you in the face and you keep on taking. I would say for you, as an outsider looking in, I would quit. You know, are you making any money now? Who knows? But anyway. It's disgusting what they're doing to you and what they are doing. Dennis Muhlenberg, $60 million. David Calhoun, $50 million. And Robert Kelly Oberg was on board. He was a CEO during the research and development, the also manufacture and also